According to the Roy of the Rebbe, to know what is here in the Nation of Sorry, we have the other day, the Rosh Mayer, Shneaur, going to give us some insight into Hillchos Abchira of Shneaur, bevakasha.
Rambam, the halachas what has to do with the Beis Hamikdash, the Rambam calls it Hillchos Abchira. The shaila is, why does the Rambam call it Hillchos Abchira when right after that, when the Rambam starts to call it, to count the mitzvahs that's in Beis Hamikdash, and when he's talking constantly about the Beis Hamikdash, he's called it Mikdash. Like for example, after he says the title Hillchos Abchira, he says Yesh Bichlal and Sheish Mitzvahs, Shalosh Mitzvahs say Shalosh Mitzvahs Leisase, Zer Proton, Livnes Beis Hamikdash. Nazay weiter. And then later on it says in the beginning of Perik Aleph, Mitzvahs say Lasis Bais LaHashem, Shenem Arvasa LiMikdash. Why is that the Rambam calls it the halachas Hillchos Beis Abchira, not Hillchos Mikdash? That's what he calls it all the time. Even though the Beis Hamikdash is called Beis Abchira because it says in Pasuk, Hamokim asher yivchar Hashem. Or like the Sifri what brought down in Rambam in the beginning of Hilchos Malachim, Gimel mitzvahs nitztav Yisrael beis knisason lo'aretz, lemanes lo'em melech, livnes lo'em bayis, ha-Beis Abchira. But still is not understood why the Rambam medayek to call the Sefer in Yad HaChazaka, but it's a hint from halachas. But lechura, the hint from Beis Abchira doesn't have to do with halacha. Mikdash lechura is a hint from halacha. That's a Mokim Kodesh. We have to act in a hint from Kedusha in the Beis Hamikdash. Or Beis Abchira, what's the ring in that? The Rebbe explains as in beginning of Perik Beis in Rambam, in Hillchos Beis Abchira, the Rambam says, HaMizbeach mekeim mechuvam beyeser. The Mizbeach is, the place is very punctual, the place for that. That's the Mokim, Shebona Bey. Avrom HaMizbeach, that's the place where Avrom Avinu built the Mizbeach, V'okadol V'sitzchok, V'o HaMokim Shebona Bey Neach, Shiyotze Min HaTeva, the place where Neach built the Mizbeach when he came out from the Teva. And that's the Mizbeach Shikrival of Kain Vehevel, and on that place Hikrival the Marishin Korban Shenivra and Misham Nivra. And the place, the earth that the Rebbe took to create other Marishin was from the same place. Since the Mizbeach became a Mechuvan B'Yesod, and we're not allowed to change it, not allowed to change the place because that is really the place where the Rebbe wanted it should be a Mizbeach. It understood that the Beis Hamikdash has to be built in that place, while the Mizbeach has to be in the Beis Hamikdash. Then we have to understand why that we're saying that as the Beis Hamikdash is Hamokim asher yivchar Hashem, but the Rebbe will choose later on. The Rebbe chose it already from Brias Adam Marishim, and the Rebbe created Adam Marishim. The Rebbe chose already the place. The Beis Hamikdash has to be in that place. In the place where Zavda Marishim was created. And there it was Makri Vakorban and all the other Korbanos. Now the explanation by Pashtus is, like the Rebbe, there is Fran Amokim Mesuyim Be'etzem, that was the place where Zavda Marishim was created. And that what later on it was Makri Vakorban. That the place where Yitzchak was Makri Vakorban. Avram was Makri Yitzchak. Why is that? Mitzad Chshivas in the place what the Rebbe already chose that place, and that will be the place where the Rebbe will want to build the Beis Hamikdash, where that will be the place that he will reveal to Eden. And that's the reason. Then that explains also why the Rambam is calling this halachas Hillchos Beis Abchira. Because the Rambam wants to explain to us the Beis Hamikdash is called Beis Abchira. Why? Because this name is showing the chshivas from the mile of this Beis Hamikdash. But that's the place where the Rebbe has chosen this world, and there will be the place where he will rest, the Beis Abchira. And then the Rambam is going to explain all the other halachas that is connected to the Beis Hamikdash, Und der sagt er, you have to build a base, but that base is a Mokim Kodesh, a holy place, and we have to act in that in a Yefim from Kedusha, declare Mikdash and everything, but the Nekuda we should know, that is not Stam, it's a place that is holy, nor is the Kedusha, what the Rebbe put in that from the beginning of the creation. But still, there is a very, when the Rebbe explains that, al der, when we say that, the whole Shaila from why is that the Esser Spheres in all the elements. What's the reason? And there is Franz for him, but we try to explain why it has to be Esser Spheres, the Hamak and others. And the Rebbe explains that the Chure, all the Hezbeirim, it says in Chassidus that Rebbe could create a lot of other spheres. The Hezbeirim are really not explaining the Indian. Now the Nekuda is, the Rebbe chose it should be Esser Spheres. And because the Rebbe chose should be Esser Spheres, that's the reason why never Elam, we have an explanation why we have the Esser Spheres. And the same thing is we have that when we're talking about the whole creation of the world. Is the fun, it says in Zeh, begin the Ishmeidenlei, or that the Rebbe wanted to show his Keiches. And with the Rebbe Rashab explains in the beginning of Tofrei Samach Vov, that is not really a good explanation of this union. Not to go into the Arichas why, it's not an explanation. And what's it in the Nekuda what the Rebbe explains? As it's a Taiva, and if a Taiva came and is in Kasha, that's really, we don't have a reason. But because of the Eibeshter, you don't have a reason. Because the Eibeshter wanted it should be a world, the Eibeshter wanted it should be a Elam, because of that came all the explanations that all these for him have, but that is not really the real explanation. On the same thing, Eden are also the same Nekuda. It's not because Eden are better than everyone or they're greater than everyone. No, the Eibeshter says, as Vayev Esav Yaakov, Vayev is Yaakov, the Rebbe loved Yaakov, and the Rebbe wanted Eden, and that's the reason why Eden existing. Because the Rebbe loved Eden, that's the reason why Eden are greater, and all the miles that Eden have, and all the others. But the Rebbe is explaining the Chura still stays a very strong kasha. Me saying that the Rambam explained that the Mizbeach is Mechem and Mekuv and David Makri given. And the Rebbe Avram Avinu, even Avram Avinu know about it because Avram Avinu says him, we say that every day in the Akedah, we say Hashem Yivcha v'yirah le'samokim hazeh lahashret b'shchina. The Rebbe will see the place where the Rebbe chose a place where the Rebbe will see that should be the place to Makriv Karbonos. That means in this man from Avram Avinu, it was already a chosen place, the Beis HaMikdash, the place of the Beis HaMikdash. Then becomes a whole shaila. The Rambam in Halacha Gimel writes, Kivan shenivna HaMikdash, since the Beis HaMikdash was built, Yerushalayim, in Nesru Kolam Kemes, we're not allowed to be makriv. Nesru Kolam Kemes, Kulon Livnes Bayis LaHashem, we're not allowed to build a house for the Eibeshter. Well, Hakir Ben Kol, we're not allowed to build another Beis HaMikdash in any other place. Since the Bchira from the Meibashtim given, it was also already in the time of Avraham Avinu. He weiß that the Riso Livnes Bayis, to build a Bayis for the Eibashter, became only in the time when the Beis HaMikdash was built in Yerushalayim and not before. From the beginning of the creation, that's the place where the Eibashter chose, and that should be the place of Karbonos. Also, the Rambam is explaining, it says, in the Mechilta, it says, Mishenivchar Yerushalayim, or Mishenivchar Beis Elomen. And the Rambam says, Mishenivna HaMikdash. And then another Shaul of Rebbe is asking why it says, Nesru Kolam Kemes Kulon Livnes B'Bayis LaHashem L'Hakir Ben Kol. From that comes out that the reason is, also in building a building, not only Makrivs and Karbonos, to be Makriv Karbonos, you're not allowed in any other place. Also, the reason from building a building. And the Rebbe explains, at that what the Rambam says, Kivan shenivna HaMikdash, is Nesru b'Yerushalayim and Nesru Kolam Kemes Kulon Livnes B'Bayis LaHashem. The special thing what's happened when the Rebbe built the Mikdash in Yerushalayim, that is the Rebbe decided that should be the Mokim Yachad in that. When a person has, like Pashat Begashmis, when a person has to choose something and he has this thinking by himself, I want to do that, or let's say he wants to eat something, he has this apple and another apple, and he wants to choose to eat, and he decided, I like this color, I like this apple better. That doesn't mean, as Lepel Mamesh, he wouldn't need the other kind. He could do the other thing. Because then, when you chose in your mind, from the Bchira, but that is called the Machshove, in a Bchira, what is before. It's the same thing by the Eibeshter Kaviyachol. When we're talking about the Eibeshter, it was the ring from Bchira. The Eibeshter is Bocher. Aber that Bchira didn't come down the Pale Mamesh in Elomus. In this world, the Bchira didn't come down and chose that that's the place, but that's the only place when we could be like Makriv Karbanas, when we could build a Beis HaMikdash. That didn't happen. What the Raya of that is, when didn't build a Beis in Midbar, they built a Mishkan. And in every Maaseh they had to move the Mishkan from one place to the other, and the Mishkan was a Mokim Kodesh. The Mishkan was a holy place. And there was a Kedusha in that, and that's the reason when it's a Satan, they had to take sand from the Afar Mishkan, from where they took it, from the Mishkan. Why? Because it's a holy place. No, but it wasn't penetrated so much that the Kedusha should stay all the time. When the Mishkan was there, it was a Kedusha in that place. After the Mishkan moved, there's no Kedusha. The same thing when we're talking about Mishkan Shilei. Mishkan Shilei is like, was the Kedusha also in a temporary time, even though the temporary was Shin Samach Teshana, 369 years. Was there the Mishkan. Still, after the Schor of the Mishkan Shilei, didn't stay any Kedusha there. Because it's not depending on the time, how long the Mishkan was there, if it was 10 days, like Rashi explains in Chumash, as it was times that only one night they came to a place, a Chanoya, and they stayed for one night, built the Mishkan, and the next day they moved. Is when the Mishkan was there, it's a Mokim Kodesh. When they moved, the Kedusha went away from the place. Mishkan Shilei was Shin Samach Shana. No, the Kedusha what was in the Mishkan, why is that? Because that was the place where the Mishkan was there. And that's the reason when the Mishkan Shilei was Chorev, is Hutra Abomas, they were allowed to be Makrim Karbonas every place. When Mishkan Shilei was existing, no one was allowed to be Makrim Karban in any other place, only in Mishkan Shilei. Mashenki, when the Mishkan Shilei is Chorev, then they could build everywhere. Why? Because Kilei Bosim, like it says in Pasuk, Kilei Bosim ad Oter la Menucha v'la You didn't come yet to the Menucha v'Nachla, but Menucha is the Shilei, and Nachla is Yerushalayim. And when the Gemara is explaining why did the Pasuk say that in two Menucha v'Nachla, to explain to us, Abishas, Mishkan Shilei is Chorev, then we could Makriv Karbanos and Bomas. Any place where he wants to be Makriv HaKarban, he could be Makriv HaKarban on a Boma. And that's the Chiddush what's happened when they build the Beis HaMikdash. As when Nivna HaMikdash b'Yerushalayim, it then the Kedusha was nikva in that place in Eifen Yitzchak. And there the Kedusha it can't go away. And the Kedusha is not bottled from that place. Even Lacha Churban Habayis, like the Rambam explains in Perek Vav Halochet Zayin, as Kedusha HaMikdash Yerushalayim is Mipnei Shechina in Abtela. Since the Shechina is resting there and penetrated that place, it is Shechina forever. And the explanation of that is the Kedusha from Mokim Mikdash, and the same thing when we're talking about the gates of Mishkan, as long the Mishkan was Kayim, it was because the Eibishter chose that should be the place where the Kedusha should rest. But in Bchira Gufa, like we said before, in Bchira could be Madregas. Therefore, the Bchira was in a Mokim Mesuyim, this place should be, because we need a Tachlis, it didn't have to have a place like it says in Parsha Rei. It says there, Tu l'sheines about the korbanos. But it says Hatchila, as when you'll need a place, but you want to be Makriv HaKarban, v'aveisim shom, you should bring that. That means that depending, because it need a place to be Makriv Karbanos, that's the reason why the Eibishter made a Mishkan Shilei. Because the Eden are pale that. When it comes to Yerushalayim, it doesn't say because you have to be makir hakol. Hamokem hashivcha beHashem, the place where the Eibishter will choose. Shama, there you should bring. That means the kedusha is not because of the karbonas what they didn't bring. The kedusha is because that's what the Eibishter chose. That's a higher madrega in level of kedusha. The bchira is betachlis hashleimus. When that's what Avraham Avinu. When Avraham Avinu said, Hashem yivchar this place lahasher shchinoseh bei the karbonas. It was the bchira from the Meibesh naiven, but it wasn't yet. Nishlal the Rinyan, and we could choose another place. The Eibishter wanted this place, but the Eibishter could decide it should be another place. If it will become a Mokim Roy, or there any other reason why it should be another place for a Korban. Only when it was built to be in Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, then was Nisgale the Bchira from the Meibashten, but his Shelel, any ability for any other place, for another place to become. And that's the reason by that time became also all the bombers, the whole Aderes Kulam, even when the Beis HaMikdash is Choreb, because the Kedusha is forever. And that's what the Rambam is Medai, Kiva Shenivna HaMikdash B'Yerushalayim. Not Kiva Shenivcha, because the Bchira was from when the Eibishter created the world. The Eibishter chose it. But then, when was the Bchira revealed in this Elam Hazaz can't be changed, that's happened only in Yerushalayim. And then the Rebbe brings out that that is also the same thing, 770. As well, the Mokim Kodesh, and even 770, that is the Kedusha. And 770 will go to Yerushalayim.
Also, everybody should bring the Zoki, the Rebbe.